God bless you and welcome to another episode on the EL Vision podcast. Today we're going to be covering another awesome section where we have investors joining us. We also deep dive on the importance and also motivation that our investors had to donate and contribute to the Durban project.
Absolutely, Brother B. And I think the important thing about the conversations that we will be having is to take away from the competitive side and to look at the overall goal and vision of why we're doing this.
So stay tuned.
We're now going to move over to the soccer interviews. We were so blessed to have the Netball sisters give us a bit insight into their teams and their game plan. So we now have with us the investors of Motherwell FC and White Eagles. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Brother Jevan, I see that you are not representing your team in terms of the kit. But Brother Wes really showed up and we're happy to see it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I thought, let me just bring the kit as part of the interview. And so we've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I think our kit is probably the best kit that was made from the library. So we're very proud of it.
You know, on that point, Brother Wes, just, I can see your enthusiasm for your team. It brings me to my first question. How do you feel about your current status on the log?
Look, we are very disappointed. The fact that we now bottom of the log, not a good place to be. Having said that, we lost a lot of players in the first game. Our team morale was down until the apostle came. And he said that we're all winners. So we feel that he uplifted us in that manner and we are good to go. Look, we're excited for the new tournament, the last tournament of the year. Hopefully we'll get some communications shortly. But other than that, we are ready to play and want to represent our team.
Yeah, I think Jevan can also attest to that because the previous tournament they were bottom of the log. So I think we're sitting with two guys that know how the bottom feels.
Yeah, most definitely. I think if you look at the first round, that's obviously the first time the players get to know each other and the first group of players that you sort of selected. So it's always difficult, to get the guys to gel from the onset. But I think what also helped was the transfer window. Because then you could see where your weaknesses were and you could buy more players to fill those gaps. And I think that really helped us because we got a balanced team and all our games were competitive versus the first tournament where you could see there was a big distinction between our level in game versus the rest of the teams. But I guess that's the beauty of the transfer window we had, and that could balance things out to them.
So with that, I think I just want to ask, as an investor to a team who was at the bottom of the table, how did it feel? And I wasn't at the game, I didn't witness it, but I walked past and someone said, "Can you believe the White Eagles won 7-0? And it seems that everyone was shocked by that. So as an investor of that team, how did that win feel for you?
I think it felt good. It's always nice when you see a plan come together. So I think post the first tournament, our team was also down, like Brother Wes described. And I think what we did also, we focused a lot on marketing and building a brand. So a lot of that went into creating an app for the team, place where the players can go and check their own profiles, fan zone, to help uplift the team. But then also some groundwork was done to make sure we identify exactly where our weaknesses are and that we buy players that can actually go and plug those gaps. That was important for us. And also, actually not finding a midfielder, but finding a great midfielder, a great defender.
Yeah.
And we done a good job with that and did a lot of research, calling on players, finding out, and that helped us a lot. So then when the second tournament arrived, we knew what our capability was. And we just needed to see it unfold on the pitch. The first game against Lofthouse, we lost 2-1 in that game, but we walked off there feeling victorious because we actually played well. Losing was based on the fact that they had an awesome goalkeeper, but we played well, executed on the game plan, and the team performed well. So they walked off the pitch where they won, but they didn't feel like they won. Whereas we lost and we felt like we won. So that set the tone for the rest of the game. So we basically told the team, we played well. If you can just repeat how you played against this team, you'll surely win the next match. And that's what unfolded.
And how's the attendance from your players, Brother Wes?
Look,
Because I know it's a difficult thing to get all your guys there.
we actually have a group of 32 strong brethren that is part of our team. Unfortunately, only 15 came to the games.
So that's how.
Which we're busy surfing out and seeing, are they real players or who are they, where are they, they're not.
So that messes up your game plan as well, because you're expecting 32 guys on the pitch, subs, everything, and then only 15 show up. That's the story.
So we are working towards it. We are in talks, and hopefully the next tournament we'll come up tops. So we're excited. I mean, we haven't given up. Yes, we at the bottom of the log, but based on how we played the first game, I think also as a number 9, I think I've got 6 goals, 3 on the left and 3 on the right that I've got. And
so you're a player as well?
I'm a player as well, yeah. Unfortunately, the second game didn't go so well for me, for my calves, if I should say that. Started giving in, so it told me a lot that I need to start practicing.
So fitness,
getting the body in shape for the next tournament. Other than that, I think attendance is quite good. We got people from Cape Town. We wanted to get other guys from Port Shepstone. We got people from Bloemfontein, Potchefstroom, and Sasolburg. The rest of the people are here from Joburg. We've got local teams as well. Yeah. On regarding that, if it is allowed, I would just like to also say thank you to our sponsor as well. It sponsored us. We could cater for paying for the players, and also some snacks for the guys. And can I mention his name? Is that fine with you? Yeah, Brother Richard Fernandez. I just want to thank him again for sponsoring us as well. I want to thank the people out there. They really also inspire us to play a hard game of soccer.
Yeah, I think we also don't want everybody to just go over to Brother Richard now. But so yeah, thank you. Shout out to Brother Richard for that. I think it's also important, like what Jevan was saying, building that brand and getting sponsors that's actually committed to your team, that's seeing the progress. I was curious, Megan, also like Jevan was saying how the strategy and the plan. So looking at the goal difference, both teams, Motherwell and White Eagles. I'm just curious to know, like, you an investor, you've got yourself, the investor, the coach. You're seeing your team goals going behind the net. Well, you as an investor, what do you tell yourself? Do you have that urge to go to the coach, give him a bit of a strategy, or do you allow the coach to do his thing? I think we can start with Jevan with this one.
I think to a large extent you allow the coach to fulfill on his strategy. But I know it's not always difficult to be on the sideline and watch, right? Because sometimes you'll see something that maybe the coach didn't see. Then we'll go and chat to the coach. But I think it's fine if you channel it correctly. I still believe that you should be talking to the coach and then the coach to the players. So for me, that's important. So we got a lot of respect for our coach. We love him.
We
Pripet.
Oh, from
from Bloem. So I think he's an experienced footballer and experienced coach as well. So he adds tons of value. And then a new addition to the team after much negotiations with Blackpool was Othniel. Othniel Murray, so we got him as an assistant.
Experience in the soccer.
Yeah, so that helped a lot as well to get him on board because he's got a lot of technical experience, how to warm players up, etc. And he added a lot of value on the day to the team. But yeah, I think that is a fine line for an investor to just manage the relationship he has with the coach. But again, coach must perform too.
He has to.
And that's important, you know. We haven't seen any reshuffles in that spaces yet in the tournament.
Transfer windows.
So we'll see what happens going forward. But at this point in time, we're quite comfortable.
Okay, Brother Wes, do you want to add on your team?
Yeah, I'd like to say that we are a very good leadership team. Very good. We've got a chorus leader, we've got an elder, a deacon, and a minister. A minister, you know.
Got a whole church in there.
So we connect a lot. Also, it's become part of your family. I never thought that, as a church, we beloveds, we worship together, and now we're worshiping with other centers as well. So you get to learn the people and deal with them and learn new things when they're angry, when they're sad.
Yeah.
We experienced a lot, and it's nice emotions, and I think that we were a brilliant team. Our coach is Brother Alexander Roy, and he's doing a good job.
Does he have a background in?
Yes, he was a previous soccer player. He's got a lot of guys that he knows that's very good coaches. He learns from the best, and I think going forward, we're going to start implementing all those skills. Yeah. So I think from his point of view, yeah, it's not nice to be a coach of the bottom of the log, of course. But look, we can only go up from here.
Can I just take a step back? Because I know it's very professional and everyone's just focused on my team and my coach and we have to go in. But just something you mentioned on that I think it would be nice if we do elaborate on a bit more. It's the fact that we are all El Tabernacle, but I think being from a certain center, you sort of have closer relations with the people in that center. So now as an investor and a player, you get to interact with people from these various centers where on a normal day, you probably wouldn't have formed these relationships or had these conversations and gotten to know them. So having all of these people from all over the country in your team, how has that sort of helped you build a relationship with people outside of your original center?
Would you like me to go?
Please, Brother Wes, if you could go first.
Yeah, look, I find it fascinating. I got to learn, or get to know Brother Clive, which was a soccer player also back in the day. And he likes the statement whenever we're together that if he used to be back in his youth, the first ball that he will kick he'll give the goalie a good shot so he can feel his power. And that will scare the goalie so that the next shots that he'll score will be easy goals.
He'll be too scared.
Yeah. And even now the other day, in our meeting, we mentioned it to me, and I just thought, wow, I would love to see that. See how Clive can just king.
So, well, Clive is also an investor in your team.
Yes, he's investing in our team. Then we have Brother Patrick, the nation, also from Pretoria. And I must say, he's got a passion for the young people. And see, also with sponsorships, so brothers from Cape Town as well. You can see he wanted those brothers to be here. And the relationship that he formed with them as well was very good. And you can see your Christian nature coming out when we're helping the youngsters. And you can see it's a changeover of seeing how we coming together as a united church. Good to see that those type of things are.
So the vision of the EHR 78 Cup is...
It's actually going for an extended version, if I have to say that.
Sure.
No, it's true, eh? So I think some of the brothers, like the Dar brothers that you have in your team, I mean, they'd send videos where they're practicing in the evening, on a dusty football field in the Dar and Friedendal, etc. Now you also get to interact with them, see where they're training, how they're training,
yes,
which is nice. And having all the brothers on one group, your team group is also good because now they interact with each other.
Also, it was winter, so those brothers are used to the heat. Training in the heat, now coming to the cold. Did it affect your team? I don't know, Brother Wes, if you also have a few of the Karoro brothers in your team. Did it affect their performance, or are those guys just full of energy and ready to bring it on the day all the time?
I have to be honest, the Karoro brothers are full of energy. They're excited to be here. You can see really They love the ministry.
Yeah.
Humble, very humble people. And they enjoy it when they're here with the brethren. Especially when they have to hear the Saturday after the function where the Sunday is church.
Yeah.
Then you can see now they came for additional blessing. Soccer is one part, but they came to receive from God.
So, Brother Jevan, I just think I'd like to ask you then, I'll start with you. And I think it's a common question that we've had for most of our investors, but what is it that inspired you to say, I'm not just going to sit back and watch this happen, I actually want to be involved and I want to contribute to this. So what inspired you to become an investor?
I think for me, it's always, when you look at the apostle and the great visionary that he is, he's obviously seen the need for us to unite our young people. And there's a lot of passion around football in our tabernacle amongst our young people. Football, netball, and there is a lot of young people. I think if you go and you look at all the message churches out there, you don't see that many young people. Or in most churches in general, we've got a massive pool, which is purely because of the Holy Ghost that's within our midst. And that's why we've got such a big pool of young people. So it's important that we obviously make sure that there is like events to keep them busy as well. And this is one of those things. And the EHR 78 Cup is a brilliant initiative. And it's bringing together young people from all our centers across the country, which is nice. So for me, it was very fulfilling to be an investor in EHR 78, knowing that I'm playing a part in a vision that's been manifesting itself through the years, number one. And number two, it's something that, I spoke to the other investors about. Fortunately, the three of us, we gel well, Brother Clement, Brother Sheldon, and myself as investors. And something we spoke of as well was around the whole idea of getting to know the players and getting to understand where they aspire to be in life, naturally and spiritually. So for us, we obviously engage the players, fellowship with them around what's happening in the ministry. But then in addition to that, we want to understand, what are you studying? What career path are you following? Because we obviously also experience people in the work environment. So that's kind of the next step to it as well. So I know the big initial milestone for EHR 78, which was also something that was a big pull, was the Durban church. But the way we see it, and knowing the apostle is always 10 steps ahead of us, so we see that as, so I know that probably the first milestone in a journey that's still going to stretch further and beyond. But ideally, it's all those factors that was at play that really pushed me to make sure that I'm a part of this great journey.
And to you, Brother Wes?
Let me just take you a bit back a few years ago. Actually, not a few years ago, but we used to go to my hometown, which is in Middleburg. So we used to have services there, classrooms. So you find out that on a Saturday or Wednesday night, there is about 30 churches having service there. And we just a handful of maybe 3, 4, 5 people in it. So and we make a noise that those other churches was to join us, to say, what's happening here by you? And that's the time we joined the ministry. And we found it so fascinating that the Holy Ghost can come and visit us in that small assembly, small church. It's not even a pulpit, just a classroom full of chairs and tables. And we enjoyed the Holy Ghost in that small space. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because it takes a lot of begging and pleading with the schools to have that type of facility. You'll find out now you'll have the class when you booked it, and you find out you don't have access to it anymore. Now you must go and beg and please, can we get another class? And I think that's how people will feel if they will have an assembly. Now, when I look at it, here is a believer has been serving the Lord for so many years in Durban. And when I looked at this thing that the apostle wants to build a church, and that's what I immediately thought, I thought, wow, you know, we don't want to be beggars and go and ask all the time. And here the man of God is coming and he's building a church for the believers there. I just want to put you in the perspective of what it means for that believer there. That always had to go and beg and ask, can we borrow this? Can we borrow? Now you're going to have a physical building standing there in Durban. I think that is one of the greatest gifts that you can give a believer, is give him an assembly. Now, from my side of view, that's what triggered me to say, no man, let me become an investor, let me support the man of God, because that's an extended vision of the man of God. The one part is the actual building. The other part is the believers, the souls is going to come into that assembly and worship God. And I think we will have our names attached to that soul that comes into that assembly. And that's for the investors or future investors. Think about it that way. You are going to help a believer, a God-fearing child of God that's worth billions of worlds to serve the Lord in an assembly that's built from the man of God. So that's why I became invested.
Yeah. You know, on that point, Brother Wes, you were saying the future investors. I do have another question for you. You know, what advice would you give for, you know, other believers that would like to become an investor? Should they jump into it? Besides the Durban thing, do you think that it's a lot of pressure? You know, managing this, managing that, approvals, you know, designs. I know it was a lot, especially with the kids coming into play and things like that. You know, how's it on your work schedule as well? I think balancing work, you know, being a deacon, Jevan, and yourself. Then you've got the EHR 78. Do you get to come around to everything? Obviously with the elbow, you know, the other investors as well.
I think we formed a nice forum in our investor group where so long as there's two people in a meeting, that meeting will then go forward.
Okay.
Regarding new investors coming and what advice would I give them? I would say, you know, we tend to give the world a lot of other things in our time and things like that. And to do something for the ministry is a great thing. This thing is the recording angel is there. I would take it like that. And he's looking down and say, what are you doing for the ministry? And that's one of the things I would urge the investors, anyone that wants to form part of this. As the world will give you a lot of things to do. But do something for the man of God, something for the ministry that can occupy also a bit of time. Because already we spend how many days at work and all these other things. And yet here we can help the man of God to get into the vision.
I think what's also nice is getting to know more people in the church. That's what it also assists with. And that's the part I really enjoyed, because we're a big church, so it's difficult you tend to go and interact with people you always interact with, you know, in the same to you from. So now this is it's like a mixed masala. People from people, and you are brought together, and you're in one WhatsApp group, you're in one team, so you really get to know more different people from different backgrounds, and I really enjoy that.
I also like, you know, that the apostle has, you know, a church in all these holiday destinations within, you know, South Africa. So you almost don't have an excuse and not leave church Sunday, even on vacation, you know. So I think, you know, I'm also very excited to be in that church, to be there. You know, I'm looking at the plans that they showed us. It's going to be one of the most beautiful churches, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's really beautiful.
And it's going to be the place to be.
There's underground parking. It's another level, you know.
Yeah.
Literally.
True. No, I think I'm very excited being a KZN boy. So living in Coxted and holidaying in Durban for long weekends. Most of our families from Durban. So it's very exciting. And I mean, there's so many different message churches in Durban, but none of them have a building. So it shows you it was meant for the man of God to put up a building in Durban. And so strange that there's no building there, yet it's one of the most historic sites, given the prophet's services that happened at Motherwell Racecourse, and one of the greatest healing sermons that this planet has ever seen took place right there. So this is a very, very historic and a proud moment, for the message as a whole, for there being a pop-up building being set up in Durban, and for our Tabernacle, another feather in the apostles' cap, given the large following he's already got within the South Coast region and Durban itself. So definitely a blessing for the people, like Brother Wes said.
Right, so we're reaching the end of another episode on our EL Vision podcast. I think we would like to close by just giving an encouraging message to our church believers that we urge you to pay the required amount of every working person of 1,900 towards the Durban contribution. And I think we'd also like our investors that join us today, Brother Wesley and Brother Jevan, also just to give the encouraging message towards you, and just to keep everyone blessed for the week ahead. Brother Wes, maybe you can go first.
To any potential new investors, anyone who wants to come on board, this is the note that I will leave with you. As Joshua and Caleb lifted up the hands of the man of God, Moses, I think it's appropriate to say that how can we lift up the man of God's hands? By doing something for him. And in this way, you are doing something for God. So in regards to the Durban church, I think try your best, do your best for the man of God. I think what we've seen lately is with the Angola trip, how those people took a hold of the man of God. I think we also need to do that and assist the man of God. God will richly bless you. Amen.
I agree, Brother Wes. I think if you look at the amount of money we spend out there in the world on different things that's non-eternal, this gives us an opportunity to spend money on something that could save a soul, which is the ultimate goal.
At this time, I'd like to thank you, Brother Wes and Brother Jevan, for taking the time to speak to us about all these important matters. And we would like to thank all our viewers for watching this entire episode.
And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. May God bless you.